All right, Nick, let's talk about the Florida State Seminoles. As we all know, the news of over a few weeks ago, Nick Saban has left Alabama, which I think has opened up a lot of opportunities as far as transfers go. And no one, and I mean nobody, has capitalized on that opportunity like the Florida State Seminoles. They were able to get, and I repeat, their fifth transfer from Alabama. And I think this latest transfer from Alabama may be the best one. Let's get into the article and we can talk about it on the other side. This is from over on Knoll Game Day, and it says Florida State has added linebacker Shawn Murphy to its hashtag Tribe24 signing class. It was announced on Friday. Murphy is a native of Manassas, Virginia, and played his first two collegiate seasons at Alabama. He was a consensus 4-star, ranked as the country's number one inside linebacker in the class of 2022. Virginia's number two prospect, and by ESPN, he was number 37 in the ESPN Top 300. Head coach Mike Norvell on Murphy, he says, "I'm excited about the addition of Shawn to our program and the potential he brings to the Knoll family. He has great size, movements, and toughness at the linebacker position. Shawn has all the traits to be a great player and will make a tremendous impact to our team on and off the field." Nick, I think this is a huge addition to this Florida State defense. I think this guy can immediately come in and be a leader in the middle of the field. He seems like a very top tier talent and just a really great player. I'm excited for Florida State, and I really think they have capitalized on the ability to grab some of these Alabama transfers out of the portal bigger than anybody else has. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but Florida State fans, I'm curious what you think in the comment sections below. Been a lot of Alabama transfers coming over to the Seminoles. Which one out of, I said, the five of them has been the biggest to you thus far? Let us know in the comment section below. But Nick, what do you think about this latest Alabama transfer to Florida State?
So there's an interesting business case study that goes back a number of years. So when McDonald's was blowing up, we're talking like decades ago, right? And McDonald's was do all this research to figure out the best place to put a store, right? Best place to put their fast food, right? To put their restaurant, whatever. They go through, do all this research about foot traffic, car traffic, intersections. They do all this analysis and analytics, and they'd go in and they'd find the perfect spot. And what all the other fast food joints would recognize what McDonald's was doing, and you know what their strategy was? When they saw that McDonald's picked a spot, they picked a spot right next to it, right? Because they'd be able to learn, okay, McDonald's is really good at this. We're not going to try and figure out a new way to do it. We'll just look at what they do and take advantage of the work they do and build it out for us to be successful as well. That's exactly what Florida State is doing here, right? It's good business. It's good execution of your program. Alabama, for the better part of, it feels like 3 decades, but I think it's been probably about 17 years now, does a phenomenal, incredible job recruiting. They're arguably the best recruiting program consistently year in and year out over this past 17 years or so by far, especially when you add it up. Some teams may be better than them one year or the next year, but consistently Alabama has been ridiculously good. And it's not like they've been recruiting bust. A lot of these guys come in and they live up to the hype as well. Florida State and Mike Norvell recognize this and say, okay, Saban's great at recruiting. He brings in all these great recruits. We can go and try and find and do our own research across the entire country to find the best transfers to pull into our program. Or we can trust that the greatest recruiter of all time in Nick Saban didn't magically just become terrible at recruiting last season and focus on getting those guys when the opportunity presents itself. And that's exactly what Florida State did here. And it's smart. Again, it's good business. It's good football. Those two often are very, very much correlated. And that's exactly what we're seeing from Norvell right here. Look, and he had a lot of success in the transfer portal, obviously, this past offseason, bringing in a lot of big-time guys to allow Florida State to elevate itself going forward. But there is one key point I think to really focus on here that I think really it proved me wrong how it shaped out. I thought the way the bowl game against Georgia, the way it was all set up and the way it ended, I thought that would have a devastating effect on Florida State in terms of recruiting and transfer portal. Based on this news and the other Alabama commits they've gotten, it has obviously not, but based on the data, it hasn't as well. According to 24/7 Sports, Florida State in the 2024 class has the number 7 recruiting class and the number 3 transfer class. That game literally doesn't, like, no recruit, no transfer even cares about that game at all. Proved me wrong. I thought it would have a negative impact. I think Florida State has actually gotten stronger since then, and a lot of credit is due to Mike Norvell and his staff for going out and doing such a great job.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, they were able to pick up a lot of great players even after the bowl game. I just think that this is a team that rebounded quickly, and no one's really even thinking about it. There's been such a big, landslide of news coming out after that bowl game. I think it's been passed over and it's truly in the past now. But to talk about Murphy, just a little bit more, this is a guy who I think comes in to a Florida State locker room that could really need him at the linebackers position. The most depth they have is redshirt senior DJ Lundy. I think he's going to be, the most veteran linebacker on this team. A lot of other guys, some redshirt freshmen, some true freshmen, maybe a sophomore in there. I think Murphy comes in. He's got a lot of, Alabama experience. Played a lot of special teams, played in the linebacker position a couple of times as well. But this guy was a star coming out of high school. And like you said, for Alabama to, check this guy out, to recruit him, the McDonald's of the football world, I think the Wendy's and the Burger Kings of the football world can say, hey, we need to look at this guy and really, see what he brings to the table. And I think it's quite a lot. And I'm excited to see what he's able to do at Florida State.